You have put in all your effort to come above to the top level. Fear was inbuilt in him throughout, which has never helped him to enjoy life. How did he come out of it? What was the determination he has? How focused was he to get rid of that fear? Now, who had an aversion? That scare, that terror of water he carried from the swimming pool at an age of 10 to 11. You can scare me, is it? You can frighten me, is it? No, no. Hello students, welcome to Prep School English classes. Today's session, Chapter 3 from your Flamingo textbook, Deep Water. Most of you have grown with a subconscious fear. A fear that is cultivated with your past experiences. A fear that brings you emotions of danger, emotions of terror. A fear that does not allow you to live life the way you want to live. Now, will you allow that fear to grow with you during your journey of life? Or will you try to get rid of that fear and overcome happiness, leaving the fear aside? The lesson, Deep Water, is everything to do with fear and terror in one's life. So, let's see what is the lesson all about. I shall be discussing today the following things. Who is the author of the lesson? What is the title and the theme? What are the significance and the moral of the lesson? Who are the characters? There are few expressions in the text which will be explained to you. And what is the summary of the story? What will be the expected question and answers? And also, how does the story conclude? What do you learn out of the conclusion? Always remember, every time I have done a lesson to you, I have touched upon these things which are important to you, especially title, theme, the significance and the summary along with the question and answers. So moving forward, let's see who is the author of the lesson Deep Water. So the author, William O. Douglas. He is an American jurist. Now, what do you mean by jurist? Somebody who is an expert in law. He was also a politician and he was an associate justice of the Supreme Court. Deep Water is an extract from his most popular, most famous book, O Men and Mountain. Here in Deep Water, Douglas himself is a narrator. He tells us about his childhood experience when, as a young child, he wanted to learn swimming and he was drowned in the swimming pool. That drowning had cultivated fear and terror. And how did he come out of that fear and terror is all about the lesson Deep Water. Moving forward, let's look at an overview of the lesson. Dear children, in all my lessons, I have told you all an overview of the lesson wherein I tell you all about what is the story, what is the significance, the theme, conclusion, what is the message and what is the title all about. It is important for you to pay your attention because you can expect or you will expect 2 marks short answer questions out of this. Moving to what is the story all about? It is learning to swim by overcoming a permanent fear of water. I told you all, Douglas as a small child, while he was learning swimming, he cultivated fear due to some bad experience. So the lesson revolves around that fear which was permanent in him and how did he overcome that fear. Moving forward, what is the significance? The significance or the importance in this lesson is experiences and difficulties. Experiences and difficulties make one learn. Out of one's own experience and difficulty, you will excel to learn something. So that is the significance of the lesson. Moving forward, what is the theme? The whole lesson revolves around fear and the terror. So the theme is fear is not death. Understand that fear is not death, or you shouldn't fear for death, but you should fear for fear itself. So he says fear is not death, but the fear of death scares an individual. So the theme of the lesson is fear and terror. So now that you know the story, what is the significance and the theme, let's move forward to understand what is the message that the story gives you. So the message is a person with a strong willpower can overcome the obstacles in the path to success. Now, if you are not being successful in anything that you want to achieve, if you are stuck somewhere, only you and your willpower will help you overcome the obstacles, whatever barriers, whatever obstacles or hurdles you have to cross. Only your willpower can help you come and meet the success. So that being the message, moving forward, what is the moral of the story? Now, determination and perseverance is the only thing for one to be successful. So, determination and perseverance are the two things that is required or the necessity for anybody to be successful. Lastly, what do you conclude? What is the conclusion of the lesson? Positive attitude and courage to fight all odds can make one successful. You should carry a positive attitude. The negativity should go away. You should believe in yourself. Only then you can fight all the odds, whatever comes in front of you, and then make your life successful. So that being the message and the moral and the conclusion, let's move forward to understand who are the characters in this story. So, who are the characters and where did the story take place? You have only one character in this lesson, and who is it? It is the narrator himself. So, Douglas is the only one character. He is the narrator. He is the one who is telling us his experience in a swimming pool. Moving forward, where did this happen? Which was the swimming pool? It is YMCA pool. It is a club run by an association. What is the full form of YMCA? Youth Men's Christians Association, and it is headquartered in Geneva. Of course, it is not important that you need to know the full form, because you will not have a question what is the full form of YMCA. But you need to know that YMCA is a swimming pool run by an association where Douglas actually started learning swimming there, and that was where he had a misadventure. Moving forward, which is the place? Where is the place the incident happened? It is in Yakima. Now, Yakima, it is a US city in Washington. It's very popular for different kinds of crops and vegetation, and also for the beautiful Yakima River which flows by the city. So please understand the character and the places in the lesson Deep Water. You have only one character, that is Douglas, who is the narrator himself, and it all happens in YMCA pool. It's a swimming pool, and where is it? It is in Yakima. Now that you know the character and the places, moving forward, let's see what is Deep Water all about. Before that, yes, as always I tell y'all, I cannot be going from line to line, word to word pertaining to your textbook. And every time I divide a lesson into subtopics. So, for this lesson, I will be explaining y'all under these subtopics. I'll give you an introduction about what is the Deep Water story all about. I will tell you all a short summary about the story and what are the experiences of the narrator which is very important pertaining to your question and answer. And what did he achieve out of this experience? That is also important. And of course, what is the conclusion? Ultimately, how does the story conclude? So in today's session, I will be touching all these topics. Moving forward, there are few expressions in the textbook. Now, these expressions are important for you to know, related to the context and understand. Of course, you will not have a question, what does this expression say? No, but while you are answering your question and answers, if you pull in this expression and insert it in your answers, it will be better and it will have more value. So, what are the expressions? The first one being treacherous. What do you mean by treacherous? Something which is not trustworthy, unpredictable. You cannot rely on something, that is treacherous. Moving forward, subdue my pride. Subdue my pride is when your pride is lowered. When your pride, the intensity of your pride is lowered at certain situation and circumstances. So subdue my pride is lower the intensity of self-respect and confidence. Moving forward, failed at the surface. When you reach something with a lot of effort, when you reach to the top and when you fail there, that is failed at the surface. So here, struggle at the surface of the water trying to come out. You have put in all your effort to come above to the top level, but there you drastically fail. So these are the three: treacherous, subdue my pride and failed at the surface. Moving forward, some more to go. Fishing for landlocked salmon. Salmon is what? It's a kind of fish. Okay. So you go fishing for a particular kind of a fish, that is salmon. So go fishing for a specific variety of fish. Moving forward, misadventure. This is very simple for you to understand. You are on an adventure and something doesn't go the way you wanted and you are in trouble. That is misadventure. An incident that runs out to be a disaster. That is misadventure. Next one is bob to the surface like a cork. Now, if you toss a cork under water, it bobs up, isn't it? So that is to bob to surface like a cork is to float. You bounce from there and you want to float. You bounce from underneath the water. You spring yourself up like a cork and then you want to float. So fishing for landlocked salmon, misadventure, bob to the surface like a cork. These are few. Moving forward to the next one, curtain of life fell. Now, when does your curtain of life fell? When the life has come for a halt. When you feel that you're going to die. So, a near-death experience is curtain of the life fell. Moving forward, back and forth across the pool. Back and forth across the pool is very simple. You go forward, you come backward. That is, you learn swimming. So, swim across the swimming pool from one side to the other. So, these were few of the expressions which are there in your text and you have to understand. Moving forward, let's go into the detail of the lesson. Let me start summarizing what is the lesson Deep Water. What is the story behind it? Let's move forward. Deep Water. The title Deep Water. Deep means which is quite deep and shallow, or the water is quite deep. So, under the water, deep inside, what happens? That is the title, Deep Water. Have a look at this. This is a picture wherein a person or an individual is inside water, but he is with lot of fear. He has that fear of water. Now I have related him to the narrator Douglas. Now this story tells us about Douglas learning to swim and what is the misadventure that happened to him, and how that fear was inbuilt in him throughout, which has never helped him to enjoy life. And how did he come out of it? What was the determination he has? How focused was he to get rid of that fear? So that is all about the lesson. So this being an introductory part, have a look at this. Douglas talks about his fear of water. The whole lesson I told you all, it's about fear of water. And who is talking? It is the narrator Douglas himself. It is his childhood experience. And how does he overcome the fear? What does he do to fight that fear away from his life? His experiences as a child carrying this subconscious fear. You understand that the fear has stuck him when he was very small. So it has grown in his subconsciousness. So how did he carry it and what are his experiences? Next, and with his strong willpower and courage, how did he overcome that fear? He had a strong willpower. He was very focused, very determined. With that, with all his courage, how did he overcome the fear? And his self-determination along with his hard work. So that was an introduction to the story wherein the narrator, while learning swimming, goes through a misadventure and then he has that fear throughout, and what does he do to come out of his fear? Moving forward, the next one is learning to swim. Here is a picture wherein Douglas, when he was small, he was around 10 to 11 years. Then he decides that he needs to swim. Now as usual, there was Yakima River over there. But his mother was very strict and kept telling him that it is quite dangerous to go swimming or to learn swimming in Yakima River. And thus he decides, or his parents decides, that he go to a swimming pool and then learn swimming over there. So he starts a swimming class at the age of 10 to 11 years along with an instructor there who is a trainer and who taught him swimming. So he wears his paddlers and then he is very thin. So he was ashamed to walk naked with his short shorts and his skinny legs. Okay, so let's see what happens. How did he decide to learn swimming? So the narration is about he was 10 to 11 years old and he was living in where I told you all, he was living in Yakima. That's a city in US with his parents. And he decides to learn swimming. But the mother was strict about Yakima River not being safe. Next, so he decides YMCA pool. The pool was just 3 feet and dropped gradually to 9 feet. So it was safe for the child to learn swimming over there. So what did he do? He used wings and paddlers. I'm sure that you all know about what are the wings and paddlers that you use as floaters while you learn to swim. So you use that, but since he was a little shy child, he hated to walk naked. Naked in the sense, of course, he will have a shorts. So he was very shy to walk showing his skinny thighs. So this is about the narrator's first step to learn swimming, and that too in a YMCA swimming pool under a trainer. Moving forward, what happens next? Now he has an aversion. He has an aversion of water. How and why? When did he start having an aversion? So it all happened while surfing. He had a very bad experience. You know surfing in the sea, isn't it? So, when the narrator was just 3 years old, he had gone to the sea beach along with his father and he was holding on to the father on the surf. What happened? The waves pulled him down, he fell down and then he was beneath the wave under the sea and he was floated across towards the sea beach. Now that created a lot of fear for him. Imagine you're just 3 years old, the sea is so huge, lot of noise about the waves, and then you're holding on to your father and you're on a surf, and suddenly you're toppled down and the waves carry you. Just imagine the fear at that time. Okay, when you are just holding on to your father and is not there and you have fallen down. His fear started then while he was surfing with his father. Have a look at it. Aversion to water. Now, who had an aversion to water? What is an aversion? When you see something, you don't want to go to it because you are scared. You don't feel like enjoying that particular thing. That is an aversion. Now, who had an aversion? It was the narrator himself had an aversion. So, why and how did it happen? So, when he was 3 years old, his father took him to a beach in California for surfing. Standing on a surf, he was holding on to his father, hung on to the father. The waves washed him down and swept over him. The child was beneath the waves. He was buried in water and he was terribly frightened. Father was laughing. Can you imagine? You are 3-year-old, you are beneath the water, you are so very scared, but then the father is teasing you, is laughing at you. So, the child was in a fright and terror, that scaredness, that he got very frightened and he started feeling very scared about the whole thing. So, the terror started building in him then. Experience of being inside the wave was terrible at that age. So, that was aversion to water. Moving forward, swimming class. What happens later on? That was around 3 years old. Now he is a grown-up boy. He is how old now? He is around 10 to 11. Now he decides that he needs to learn swimming. And I've told you that he goes to the YMCA swimming club. So what happens there? He joins the swimming club. Now he starts swimming. And I told you he's very focused and determined. He made up his mind that yes, let me go and start swimming. Of course, that fear was there when he used to see water. But still he put that brave step and joined the coaching classes. 2-3 days he was at ease. He was very comfortable being in water, being with a trainer. And then days moved on. Let's see what happens. He has a misadventure after that. Before that, what is it about YMCA? It's a swimming pool. It was a club pool. There, unpleasant memories carried for him. That is, when he was 3, what had happened long back in the sea while surfing, that would come back when he was getting into water. Now he was how old? He was 11 years. Okay, so he gathered all the confidence and he went to the pool. There, of course, there will be other small young boys also learning to swim. So he watched others and he also started paddling, started to learn the first steps of swimming. Now 2-3 days up, he was at ease. Things were all fine with him. He was very comfortable. But then a misadventure occurred. What is the misadventure? So this is about how did he get into the swimming pool club to learn swimming. Moving forward, let's see what is the misadventure. Now, there was a sudden scare. What happened? One day, when he went to the swimming pool, nobody were around. He was waiting by the pool side, putting his feet into the water. He was sitting there and waiting that, his other friends or the other boys whom he would see every day would come and he would join them. So the pool, the water was so still, it was all quiet. It was very clean and clear that he could see the bottom of the swimming pool, which was completely tiled, isn't it? So he was waiting there. Suddenly, a big boy comes. He was around 18 years. He was a bruiser. Okay, he had hefty muscles, and his arms and legs were all very strong. So as he came in, what did he say? He said, "Hi, Skinny. How did you like to be ducked?" What is to be ducked? To be got into water. So he tells him that he picks up the boy and he just throws him to the pool. Remember, the pool starts at 3 feet and it ends at 9 feet. And the boy had not learned swimming. He was just waiting for the others to come. So he was not prepared. He never had anything that, he would get into water. So he was suddenly thrown and he falls into water. Already he has that fear and terror of the water. Now that scare, that sudden drop into the water developed, all because of a big boy who picked him up and he put him into water. Have a look at it. Let's see the misadventure. In my previous slide, I told you there was a misadventure in the YMCA club. So what was the misadventure? The little Douglas, who was around what age? 10 to 11 years. He was sitting in the pool all alone. The water was still and clean. It was so clear that he could see the tiled bottom of the swimming pool. Waited for someone would come and join him. But by then, a big boy. He was like a bruiser. He was around 18 years old. He was well-built physique. He had a very well-built physique. He had muscle legs and arms. What did he do? He picked him up and tossed him into the water. What did he do? He picked him up and tossed him into the water. So how did he address little Douglas? He said, "Hi, Skinny. Would you like to be ducked?" So that way he picked him up and he put him into water. So that brought him a lot of scare. It added on to his fear which he already had. So moving forward, what happens? The little boy, the little Douglas, who is just 10 to 11 years, when he was thrown into the water by that big boy, he started drowning, going deep into the water. He went through a lot of panic that built that fear in him. He got very, very frightened. He did not know what to do. But still he thought that he will reach the bottom, he will stamp the tile and he will come up and then he will try to go to the edge. But did that happen? So have a look at this. State of confusion. Why do I say that it is a state of confusion? That's because suddenly he is dropped into water. Not immediately, of course, slowly he went down, during which he swallowed a lot of water. Now, he was terribly frightened, but still he planned to hit the bottom and then hit back to jump, come back to the surface. So while he was in the surface, he thought that he can lie flat and he could reach the edge. But he could not manage and he went back. What happened? Whatever he planned that he will reach the bottom, come back to the surface, lie flat and reach to the edge, that did not happen. Of course, he came to the surface, but again he went down because he did not know well how to swim, how to float. So what happened after this confusion? Moving forward, the hope that he had that he will come to the surface, alright, then he will lie flat there and then he will try to go to the edge, hold on to something and get out of the swimming pool. That did not happen. He came to the surface, but without any kind of help or without even he knowing what to do, he once again went down. Can you imagine what would have happened to that little boy? He had already swallowed water, isn't it? So what happened? Helplessness started. Alright, so what is the helplessness while he was going down? 9 feet seemed 90 feet for him. For his age, he was just 10 years. He would have been only this tall. So for him, that 9 feet was around 90 feet. So he went down and down and down. With all the effort, he tried to spring back. Once again, he tried his best effort to come back to the surface. But he could see nothing around. He only could see water. He couldn't see anything. He wanted to scream aloud, but who could hear him? Only the water heard him. He couldn't scream or call for somebody. Now he started becoming suffocated. He was not able to breathe. His lungs were filled with water already. This made him grow more panic. He grew panic. Okay, now the lungs were getting filled with water. So as he was going down, his helplessness started. He was in a panic and he was looking for someone to help. He started screaming, but nobody could hear his scream except water, and all he could see is water and water, and he was suffocated. Moving forward, what happens? So that was the second time he went down. Now, this fear started in him naturally. In the beginning, he thought that he can come on the surface and he get out. But when that did not happen, when he was losing his strength, he started having that fear. But did it stop him there? What happened next? That fearful experience, the second time when he went down. He came to the surface, swallowed water, he choked also. Okay, now his strength was no more. He started feeling very paralyzed. Paralyzed in the sense he had no movement in his legs and hands. So he started feeling paralyzed, and then only water heard his scream. Whatever little he wanted to scream, I told you, only the water could hear it. Was back at the bottom. He once again reached the bottom. Now he extended his strength. Whatever little strength he had, he tried to extend, put a strategy there and tried to spring back to the surface. Tried to strike his hands and legs to get to the edge. So once again, for the last time, he tried to do that with his little energy. So what happened? The second time, the little boy went down. He tried to come back and had a very fearful experience. So for a minute, put yourself in his shoes. Just imagine what is the experience, what is the dreadful feeling that you would have while you are getting drowned in a water and there is nobody to help you. Okay, fear builds in you. You are so scared. You lose hope that you are going to survive. You feel that you are going to die. Can you just think for a while, putting yourself in his place, understand what is the experience he had. Now moving forward, underwater, what happened? What happened underwater? He went down and down endlessly. Imagine, second time he came up, but again he went down and down. He could see only dark water. Is there anything else he could see? No. Earlier, you remember I told you, he felt that the water was very clear. Now going down and coming on top so many times, he found that the water was so dark in the bottom. It was shrieking underwater, very, very fearful underwater. He had a paralyzed feeling and he had that rigid, that strong fear was already cultivated in him. And his screams were frozen. He couldn't scream because there is nobody to hear. So it was in a state of frozen. His heart was pointed in his head. That was when he realized what is terror. There was terror in him. So how does he explain this terror? It's very important for you to know. He said, sheer stark terror seized him. Him is Douglas himself. So he explains the terror as a sheer and stark terror. And then he said, terror that knows no understanding. The terror is not understanding his plight. So it has no understanding. Moving forward, terror that knows no control. The terror which doesn't know any control. And lastly, he says, terror that no one can understand who has not experienced. So he says, nobody can understand this kind of a terror unless and until that person has actually experienced such a kind of a terror. So he explains what kind of a terror was he in deep in the water. Moving forward, let's see what happens next. Remember, this is the third time he is going deep into the swimming pool water. He reached the bottom. Every time he reached the bottom, first time and the second time, he's tried to come up. But what happens there? He couldn't stay on the surface, isn't it? So he couldn't stay. He tries to, move his legs and arms, but he fails in doing it. He had a paralyzed feeling. He tried calling for help. So he's so desperate. He wants somebody. So always this happens that when you're in the 10th minute, no matter whom you do not remember, but you call out for your mother, isn't it? You remember your mother. So he called out for his mother. That's so sad. Will the mother get to know that her child is in deep trouble? So the boy now was totally scared. He was totally scared and had no hopes at all. He completely lost his hopes. Have a look at it. This is the third time he is going in, and then he has lost all his hope because in spite of twice going to the surface, he was not able to move out of the water. And the third time while he was coming down and down, he lost all his hopes. So he had no hope that he's going to survive. He thought that he's going to die. He was left with no energy at all. So what happens after that? The third time he was beneath the water in the swimming pool, he gave up. He gave up all the hopes. He thought that the curtain of his life has come down. He was completely paralyzed. He was not able to see anything. He did not have that little bit of strength for survival. So what happened? He gave up. Have a look at that. The third time, all his effort ceased. Ceased means what? It stopped. He gave up. Legs felt numb. Numb means no movement at all. The legs felt numb. There was blackness swept over his brain. Blackness is what? You're off for some time. You have that unconscious feeling, isn't it? So blackness swept in his brain. Fear, panic and terror all put together was in him. He was not afraid. He was not drowsy. He felt like sleeping. He was not afraid anymore. Why? Because he was almost out of his consciousness. He wanted to sleep. He wanted to relax. During that time, he had a feeling, a very lovely, gentle feeling. It's a feeling like when a mother rubs her hands over a child. You get that warmth and you feel that comfort. So he had that feeling of gentleness as if mother was around him. He felt that his mama was around him and he is in the safe hands. So he crossed the oblivion and the curtains of his life fell. So this happened to him after coming first time on top, again the second time, and the third time when he was beneath, he lost all his hopes and he thought that he is going to die. With this, let's move forward to see what happens to the young boy after this. He felt unconsciousness. Remember, I told you his brain was a little off. He felt dizzy. He felt like, he had no fear in him. He wanted to relax and he wanted to sleep. That means to say that he was so very tired and he was unconscious. So what happens during that time? Somebody picks him up from the water. He could vaguely hear someone talk. I never knew that he did not know swimming and all those other things. He was made to sleep on his stomach and he was made to vomit. After a few hours, he was a little fine and then he was sent home. But did it stop there? No. Throughout, he carried the fear. He carried the terror. He carried the fright and the scared feeling inside him from the swimming pool till his house and throughout his life. So what happens? Hours later, he heard somebody talk. Someone murmur, very vaguely he could hear. He was lying on his stomach and he was vomiting. And after that, he went back home. He was feeling very, very weak. He had that sickness in that stomach. In his stomach, he had sickness. He never went back to the pool ever. He just did not want to go back to the pool at all. He carried that fear of water, that fright of water, that scare, that terror of water he carried from the swimming pool at an age of 10 to 11 throughout his life. So going forward, so what happens after that? Does he live his rest of his life with this fear, with the fear of water? Does he carry this terror and the scared and the fright that he had throughout his life? Or will he overcome? Let's look at it. What happens later in the years? The fear continued whenever he got into water. Whenever he saw the water, the memories would come back. Whenever he got into water, he had that fear, the bad experience, the misadventure, what happened back then when he was 10 to 11 years old. The terror would constantly come back, and then he was not too very comfortable with this. His legs would get paralyzed. The fear would take complete possession. Instead of enjoying the present scenario, if he was in water, instead of enjoying it, the fear was in his possession. It had completely taken over him. So which he was not liking it. That horror would always grab the heart. You know, that feeling of horror in the heart sometimes when you have had a bad experience, isn't it? That suddenly comes back. So this is what was happening with him deep inside, that he was not trying to overcome his childhood experience even years later. So further, this haunted him for many, many years. The fear, the terror kept on haunting him in the sense kept coming back to him. It deprived him of all the joys, of all the funs that he could have, all the fun in water, all the fun activities he could not have. He couldn't go for fishing trips. He couldn't do canoeing. Canoeing is what? It's like a kayaking. It's a boating. He can't do boating. He was so fond of swimming. He is unable to swim. But when he sees around, everybody are having all the fun-filled water activities. Now, he tries his best to overcome the fear. He makes up a mind, no, I'm not going to live this way. I'm not going to take the fear along with me in further journey of my life. I have to get rid of this fear. I have to throw away this terror. So he tries his best to overcome the fear. But it is not possible. It was not possible for him. Every time he thought, no, I will not get scared. But it wasn't possible. So what happens after that? After that, he makes up his mind. What does he decide? He says, no, I'm not going to live like this throughout my life. Let me come out of this fear. So what does he do? He makes up his mind. He plans to learn swimming. Isn't it a wonderful feeling that he decides? He plans that, yes, I have to swim. So how does he plan? He gets an instructor, a trainer for himself. He gets an instructor, a trainer for himself. He takes the swimming classes. He takes swimming classes from the instructor. Now in a week of 7 days, he has 5 days class and every day he has an hour of coaching. 1 hour he has coaching. Now, there was a rope which was tied to him. Now, remember that you need to understand Douglas has explained to the instructor about his past experience. Now, he being a master of swimming, he knows how to help out his student or how to help out Douglas, isn't it? So, what does he do? He ties Douglas to a rope and he leaves him into water. You know what's a pulley, right? When you draw water from a well, you see a pulley where a rope comes back. So, a rope was used as a pulley. It was tied to Douglas and he was allowed to be in water front and back across the pool. Douglas was allowed to swim. So, what did the instructor do? He tied a rope to Douglas, allowed him to be in the pool to go across the swimming pool. Now, the instructor was very good and he trained him in small little phases, in all the phases, from getting into water, from going across. So, phase by phase, bit by bit, the instructor helped Douglas to learn the swimming. What happens next? 3 months passed. Bit by bit, little by little, Douglas was able to come out of his fear, come out of the fright, come out of that terror that he had with water. So, bit by bit, he overcame. And then, piece by piece, little by little, in phases, the instructor tried to help Douglas with his fear. Finally, he learned to be on his own. He did not want rope. He did not want instructor. He was okay to be swimming around the pool and he was also fine that there was no fear. So finally, Douglas learned to be on his own. Now that he realizes that, wow, I have learned swimming. It's a great feeling. But deep inside, he did not trust himself. He felt that still he might have the fear. He felt maybe in the swimming pool, I know water, I know the distance, I know how deep it is, and also the instructor is watching me, be in the water. So there is always somebody to help me. But am I sure that I have overcome my fear? Can I be on my own? So he realized that he has learned swimming but was not sure whether he was out of fear. So going further, let's see how did Douglas test himself of not being in any more fear. I have given you a reference page, page number 28. Now it was simple for me to explain to you in one line. The instructor tied a rope to Douglas, left him in water, asked him to go front and come back, and he learned swimming. But that is not the thing. There is a procedure. There is a little bit of conversation which I expect you to open your textbook and read page number 28. So what did I tell you all before that? I told you all that Douglas was not too very sure that he had come out of the fear. Now we wanted to experiment. So what does he do? He goes out. He puts his foot out of the swimming pool, out of the comfort zone, out of that comfort of swimming pool water. He moves out and he tries all alone. So where does he go? What is in his thought? What does he want to do? What does he do? He visits these few lakes. Why does he visit? To have a look at how beautiful the lake is it? No. He wanted to jump into the lake all alone and swim there. Why did he want to do it? He wanted to see whether the fear still exists in him. So he goes to Lake Wentworth and then he swims there. He dives there and then he goes to Stamp Act Island and also to the Triggs Island. So what happens there? He swam for 1 to 2 miles. He spent some time there and he was quite comfortable. Once in a while, he felt that little fear. Then how did he address that fear? He says to himself, "Well, Mr. Terror, what do you think you can do to me?" "Well, Mr. Terror, what do you think that you can do to me? You can scare me, is it? You can frighten me, is it?" "No, I don't have any fear. I am out of it. I am brave. I am an expert. I can swim. I can survive. I can go into water. I can experience everything." So have a look at it. To check his achievement. What was the achievement? The achievement was he had learned to swim and he wanted to be all on his own. So to check his achievement, he went to Lake Wentworth in the New Hampshire, dove a dock at the Triggs Island, Lake Stampak Island. He swam for 2 miles. Swam the crawl, the breaststroke, sleeping on the back. All these are the different kinds of way to swim. So he swam the crawl, the breaststroke, the side stroke and the backstroke. He was very comfortable. Put the face under the water. He went inside. He put the face under the water, tried every possible thing. What did he do? He tried every possible thing, but he was very happy and comfortable to say that, "Yes, I did it. I am a master of swimming now. I have no fear at all." So this was his experiences to achieve. So how does he celebrate his happiness? He wants to scream, he wants to shout, to tell everyone, to tell the world, to tell the water, to tell the terror, to tell the fear, to tell the death that yes, he has learned swimming and he is the master. He carries no fear at all. He is not scared. He is not frightened. He does not care for anything called as fear or terror. So what does he do? He shouts loudly. He shouted with joy that he has conquered the fear of water. He shouted with joy that he has conquered. Yes, I have conquered the fear of water. Moving forward, terror is only in fear of death. He says that terror is only in the fear of death. That you feel that I'm going to die. That is terror. He says that. Moving forward, his experience had a deep meaning. What do we realize? He himself feels that his experience had a very deep meaning. It had a depth for whatever he went through. And all we have to fear is fear itself. He says, we need not have to fear about death. What should we fear? We have to fear fear itself. So he says, all we have to fear is fear itself. And going forward, sensation of dying, sensation of a terror, sensation of a fear was trivial for him, isn't it? His sensation of terror, fear, and the thought of dying was very, very trivial to young Douglas, isn't it? So, the rest of the life, he grew. He grew in an intensity to live. He wanted to live and enjoy life. He wanted to do everything without fear of anything. So, this was the story of Deep Water about the narrator, about his experiences. How did he overcome his experiences? What did he do? What was his determination? How was he focused? And how did he end up? So with this, what is the conclusion of the lesson Deep Water? What does Douglas want to tell us? He tells us that all we have to fear, we must be scared of what? We have to fear is fear itself. All we want to fear is fear itself. So this is the conclusion what Douglas wants to tell us. And we should not fear death. Fear is not death. We should not be fearing that we are going to die. So fear is not death. Fear is fear itself. Thus, Douglas teaches us that fear is fear itself and fear is not death. Moving forward, question and answers. What are the expected questions that you can expect from this lesson? Dear children, I have told you all that always from your prose as a part of the literature, you will have two types of questions. One is a short answer, 120 to 40 or 40 to 50 words, and another one is a long answer, 120 to 150 words. So your short answer is always for 2 marks and your long answer is always for 6 marks. So what are the short answer questions? That is for 2 marks. First one, how and why did Douglas decide to learn swimming? What was the aversion in water? When did it happen and how did it happen? Why was YMCA pool a comfort zone in the beginning for the narrator when he started to go to the pool, to the club? Why was it so very comfortable? What was the misadventure that happened in YMCA? Further, what is the state while he regained unconsciousness? When he got back from his unconscious state, what was the state? How did he feel? Lastly, what were the experiences every time he was under water? So these were few of the questions. As you read the text, you will get to know more. Moving forward to the long answer. I have told you all, long answers are for how many marks? It is for 6 marks. Now comment on the appropriateness of the title. Comment on the appropriateness. Okay. How well do you think Deep Water title to the lesson is appropriate? So you need to comment. The next one, with reference to the story, you need to write a paragraph on positive attitude and courage. So you can expect where you need to think beyond the textbook, put your thoughts and you need to answer. So a paragraph on positive attitude and courage. Going further, elaborate the frightening experiences in the lesson Deep Water. So write about the frightening experiences of the narrator. Lastly, the effort of getting out of fear of water. What were the efforts of the narrator to have come out of the fear of water? You have to jot it down and write. So dear children, these being few of your questions, the short one and the long one, I always tell you all, now since you know the summary and the story, don't stop here. Please sit back today itself, open your Flamingo textbook, Chapter 3, read the lesson Deep Water. Understand, mark down the important notes, important words. Okay, pause the video at times when you want to take down few notes. Rewatch the video, make some time and rewatch the video. This becomes an important lesson from the examination point of view. So to repeat, what is that I want to tell you? I want to tell you that you have to read the textbook. That's it for today. To conclude, I hope you have understood the lesson Deep Water. What is the lesson about? What is the story? What's the title, theme, significance, message, moral, and how does the lesson conclude? What are the expected questions and what did you learn out of the lesson? Dear children, thank you for sitting through the class. Remember, repeated trial is a tool to achieve. For you to achieve anything, to be successful, no barrier should stop you. You have to overcome that and be successful to achieve your goal. Try and don't stop trying. See you in my next session, keeping quiet. Until then, all smiles to you. Bye-bye.